I will do my best. I did my notes in English, so I hope it will work. But some of it, so I will switch. Okay.
For the participants, I'm going to introduce you to our Fulbright alum, Jorge Gallero.
Okay.
He's a film director and screenwriter, and he had the Fulbright Award in 1998. He studied film studies at the American Film Institute, and he's filmed several movies like Cama Adentro, starring Norma Leandro. Maybe you've heard of Norma Leandro, who was the star of La Historia Oficial, the award-winning movie several years ago. Jorge is going to talk to you about Argentine films. So the ball is yours, Jorge.
Okay. Well, thank you to invite me to such I had to select 15 films that represent our cinematography. I tried to do my best. My intention was that you can know our culture, our country, our political aspects through our films. It's great. It was a challenge for me. I think I would like to not to be a unilateral, class. I would like to have your insights also. I ordered my talk with the movies, and I think talking about these movies is gonna come a lot of aspects of our country, of our society, and also the points we have in common, as we are in South America, but we have a history in common about colonization, about how was we are descendants partly from people from different parts of the world who were, trying to make a dream, in another place, to make a living in another place. So we have that in common. And in these movies, we're gonna talk also. Well, I start with Tire 10. Tire 10 it was the first documentary. I think it strikes me with a subject, with a social subject. And also it depicts, one of the stops of the train. The train was also the tool for civilization to go, many places in our country, like in the United States. But also depicts the moments that this train has to go slowly, and because in this I believe in this tunnel, in this bridge, and it was the place for kids, very poor kids, to ask for money, to ask for Tire 10 is like throw me 10 cents, And this documentary is made by testimonies of the kids, by testimonies of the tourists that also tell what they feel, or what the things that confront to that reality. The reality of the outskirts, perhaps, of a very wealthy, town that is like the capital city, and perhaps the outskirts in Santa Fe or different places. So also that in that movie you can see the gaps the gap between capital city and the outskirts, the gap between civilization and the differences and the, you know, and well, I don't know if someone saw the film, what you think, what you feel.
Jorge, do you want to repeat the title of the film you talked about?
It's the first one in the list, Tire 10 by Fernando Birri. Is the first one I sent you. Then, I don't know if somebody saw it. Then it's Juan Moreira. It's the second film in the list by Leonardo Fabio. Leonardo Fabio it was a singer, a director, an actor with a working class, you know, background. It was somebody. It was perhaps could be one of these kids in Tire 10 who was, you know, very poor in Mendoza city, Mendoza, in the center of the country, the province known by his wines and the Cordillera de los Andes, the place that San Martin took and crossed these Alps to conquer Chile and to beat this a part of Argentina where Leonardo, and he decides to tell the story of Juan Moreira, that was kind of the gaucho. You know, you will know the gaucho as a figure in the. It could be like in Western, it could be you have the figure in the Western, the colons. Well, we have the gaucho. We have the gaucho. He was the habitant of the Pampas, the one who was in contact with the Indians, and used to live with them in a way they live, they share the same place. We know, you know, barriers. We know, ¿cómo se alambrados? How do you say? Alambrados?
Wiring.
Yeah,
wire. I'm not
wire,
sure.
because
Fence?
Yeah, because well, we have also we conquered these places, like in United States, the killing thousands of Indians and natives just to get yes, to use these lands to produce. Well, the gaucho was somebody who had to see how it fits in this new world, no? So this is the story of Juan Moreira, somebody who had to survive in this new condition, and well, I like you to see that moment in our history, that is in the beginning of the century, and it was the changes and it was the tensions between two parties. Here in Argentina, there was the Federals, that were the party that wanted, you know, that all the provinces to have the power, and los unitarios, that they were the party that support that the power had to be in Buenos Aires, in the port, in the center of the country. So this movie also depicts that tension between city and and the country, between what it means, the civilization, and what is known by the empowered people, the barbarian side of the society. Well, with the same director, I wanted to choose Nazarena Crucialobo. This is a fairy tale-ish tale that has to be with these stories that are global stories, like that the seventh son of a family has the could be owned by the devil when he grew up. It's a very common tale that it was used in Hollywood, was used in many things, but Leonardo Fabio really depicts a small town, depicts also religion, how religion and how we believe, how people believe in these fairy tales. And I like it because it depicts a little bit, also it's a movie about magic realism. You know, perhaps you will heard magic realism in literature. Is the side in a piece for radio, like Orson Welles' radio drama, no? And in the movie you can see this voiceover, this for universal and made by extraordinary talents to connect with people. This movie was the movie that makes the biggest box office in history in Argentina. And also depicts a moment in our history. The next movie I wanted you to see is Boquitas Pintadas. Perhaps somebody of you know Manuel Puig, a writer known by The Kiss of the Spider Woman, a movie William Hurt was made by William Hurt, Hector Babenco. It's a very known Argentinian writer from General Villegas, a little town in the outskirts of Buenos Aires that depicts a Don Juan story, like a Don Juan from the outskirts, and the tension about our personal satisfaction, how it affects the social aspects of our society, because it's a love triangle between this Don Juan and three very different women in a little town, and how this affects all these lives and how the society takes these things. Well, Manuel Puig had to emigrate by the dictatorship. He was gay. he is one of the first voices that really depicts a world, a gay world, where in Argentina and in dictatorship, these things were very suppressed and were very difficult to be an artist and a gay artist in that moment. And perhaps in the case of the Spider Moment, you can see these aspects of history and his own history. Also, Boquitas Pintadas is kind of a depiction of his hometown, and Nene, the main character, is based off his mother. So it's very interesting if you can see Manuel Puig's books and adaptations in film. Well, the next one. I hope you can see anyone. Well, I hope the things I talk makes you see some of these movies and comprehend or have some guides to comprehend our culture, our history process. La Tregua was the first movie that was nominated for an Oscar in 1974. It was directed by Sergio Orbenan, and it's also another piece adapted by Mario Benedetti, a writer from Uruguay, and depicts the routinary life of his main character in the 50s, in a routinary work. No, that is a story that confronts and contrasts with the American dream. The American dream that says that if you have a good job, if you have kids, if you have a good salary, you're gonna be happy. But this main character is not happy. Now I see this was a movie from 1974. Well, the main character gets in love with a younger girl that start working in his office. Nowadays, that will be really a thing to think about her genre, no? Because he has a power, you know. He's her boss, and in at that time that was disruptive, and also the main character has an homosexual son that gets out of the closet, and that seems to be disrupted at that time. But if you see it nowadays, it seems that is more has all the prejudices of our education in a patriarch kind of culture. So it's good to see it nowadays and make a lot of questions about how things change in our perception about tales and genre. Wow. La Patagonia Rebelde. La Patagonia. Well, perhaps you will heard about Patagonia. There's some jackets, Patagonia jackets. Patagonia, it's a mythic place, but also it was a tragic place because Patagonia, this big landscape, very cold, very beautiful, with a lot of rich materials, minery, well, the wool. The Patagonia was, the colons of the Patagonia, they were descendants from English, also the train. Well, this drama is set after World War I. And the crisis of 1920 makes that the wool price goes down, and that makes that a lot of farmers fired the workers that cut the wool in Patagonia. So this forced the first unions and anarchists and also a lot of workers that were, following the ideas in the Soviet Union about equal rights, about new conditions of work, and well, they made the first strike, big strike in the whole, and Irigoyen, there was elected governor, sent military to negotiate, but the things escalate, and well, that depicts how the government sends militaries to suppress that strike, and well, really was a very dramatic, because 1,500 workers were killed in that situation. So it really strikes me, that movie strikes me also how it's made by the author, and was Osvaldo Bayer, who really made the whole script based on a research that took him like 20 years. And you will see that you can see a lot of, also the main character, the military who is in charge to fight this strike is very compelling, because it's so well done, and then the contradictions and the power who force the violence in two sides is very dramatic, and also in a way can explain what our dramatic episodes in modern history, and you can see why we have a dictatorship and how it works. Many political things in our country. I believe in that movie you can feel perhaps the roots of violence in our politics. Okay. Another movie that really strikes me, because it's a genre. It's kind of a genre movie because Tiempo de Revancha by Adolfo Aristarain, a movie from 1981. It's a movie shot during dictatorship. We have We have many dictatorships in our history. What the most recent one, the one who many of you will know, was from 76 to 1983. In this period, we have we know the Malvinas War. We have the desaparecidos. We have a lot of episodes that really made our society as we are nowadays. But in that moment, you couldn't say, well, your life could be in danger to express what you think if you confront this power. But Tiempo de Rancha is a movie that says it so in such subtle and interesting way, cinematically, that tells exactly what you feel when you were in that dictatorship, with that completely different story that is a story of two workers in a mine. And this crooks wants to get advantage doing something. And well, you have to see it, but when you see it, for us, it's not just another tale or another tale of suspense. It means a lot, and it speaks a lot about that society in that moment in Argentina during dictatorship in a very unique way. Well, I choose Camila, a movie from Maria Luisa Bember, one of our woman directors, perhaps the most recognized and most talented woman director in a very male, cinematography, because there are no, well, nowadays, yes, but in that moment, a woman making films was very unique, and she was unique, not for us because of your cinema, but also to arise a voice, a woman, of the woman, and the stories of the woman, and she was very interesting. And Camila depicts a story. In the story, you can see how we lived when we were a colony, with a virrey, with the Spanish virrey, and also you can see how religion and Catholic religion was part of the conquer of the civilization in the whole country, because that's why we have a lot of churches. Also, you will see the mission, that the film, The Mission, you will see how Hispanic use the church to spread, the civilization, the word of God. But this is a love story. This is a love story between a priest and a woman who confronts that society in that time because they fall in love. And well, it's a very compelling story and very dramatic. I don't want to.
Jorge, are you there?
Jorge left. And the best part.
Hopefully he come back in some minutes.
The connection was not very good.
No, not very good. So let's wait.
Here he is.
Jorge, are you there? No se te escucha, Jorge, no se te escucha. Tenés que desmutearte.
Are we going to meet him in person?
Okay, here we are. Yes.
Yes, now yes.
Sorry.
We were in Camila.
Sorry. Well,
Still in
I'm
Camila.
going with this roller coaster of movies. Well, and then comes the official story. Well, perhaps the movie that Laura mentioned in the presentation, the official story, a movie made by Luis Puenzo, a director that also worked in Hollywood after this success, because the official story won an Academy Award, and also was made after when we recovered democracy in 1993. This was the first movie that talks freely about what had happened, in dictatorship, and it talks about the story of a couple that decides to adopt a child that, and well, the mother starts to realize that the child she adopted was the daughter of a desaparecido, somebody who was kidnapped, killed, and they steal her son and put it in adoption. And she starts to make her investigation, and also finds out that his husband was involved in dictatorship, and has his contacts. And so it's a very compelling story, because also depicts how all our society were, in a way, also supporting or trying to survive, or not trying to know, or not, or avoiding to think about what is going on, part of the society. Another one was trying to survive, but it was really a movie that confronts us to our history, and that moment was really striking. Well, the next movie I want you to see is Esperando la Carroza. It was, I don't know how to translate it. It's like waiting to the carriage.
Yes.
But no, it's waiting to, it's like waiting to death, to die. In a way, it's kind of a paradox, and it's, for me, it's a very interesting, movie. Perhaps, I don't know if I saw it today, how it will feel, but it's a movie. It's a comedy. It's a comedy with a lot of characters. That a parody about our bourgeoisie. I don't know, and it's kind of funny. I really enjoyed, and it was a blast, because it really depicts us in many ways, and with a lot of humor. Well, and also, I think you can understand Argentina if you don't understand a little bit who was Eva Perón and who was Juan Domingo Perón, what and all that happened because of them in our country. And I put there's a lot of movies about the Peronism, about Eva, but this one, I don't know if is the best, but it's the one who tells a little bit the story of them. And I think you should.
Can you repeat the title? What's the title?
Eva Perón. Eva Perón.
Right.
The Juan Carlos de Sanso. I'm following my list. I put my list if you want. Meanwhile, you are listening. It's just watching the list and you make your marks. This one I will like it. This one interests me, but you will. I kind of introducing these worlds, to you, and you will choose which one. So perhaps when meanwhile you are here, you want to understand some Peronism. Well, put Eva Perón and see contradictions, and well, it's a movie that interesting, and it's about two very popular figures of our politics. Well, the next movie I choose to introduce you is Pizza, Birra y Faso. That is pizza, birra is beer, and faso is joints. This is a movie of my generation of filmmakers. This is a movie that comes out in what it's called the new Argentinian cinema. It's a movie that takes from all the history of movies and our history of cinema, something of neorealism, something of Nouvelle Vague. Is our generation wanted to make movies that that were inspired by events, the street, what's happening on the street. Perhaps there was a lot of movies before us that were adaptations that were like fairy tale-ish, and we wanted in a way to hear how it talks the street, how it sounds, real characters, and these are small crooks, these are teenagers, these are thieves, small thieves, teenagers that in the news they can say are the thieves, but are real people that suffer, that needs to be part of this society. And in that moment, in the 90s, there was a lot of poverty and there was a lot of discrimination, and perhaps this movie put a face in these kids that are trying to survive, that are trying to to make their living. And well, this was a new Argentinian cinema, in a way, open up the cinema to tell this kind of stories. Well, Garage Olimpo, we talk about dictatorship, we talk about, in a way, you will see Garage Olimpo really is a movie that tells you the story in a concentration camp, It's a story that it really is painful, but really, if you want to see what was to kidnap people, who were the desaparecidos, you know, there were many concentration camps all around Argentina, where people were kidnapped, put there, interrogated. Well, this is a painful movie made by an Italian director, because perhaps nobody in Argentina could have the guts to tell the story, such a story in such a painful way. But well, I put it because for me, really, depicts this painful moment in a very interesting way also. Well, I talked about the 90s. The 90s was the moment when I was young, the moment that I could go to Fulbright to the United States, the moment that also there has Carlos Menem as a president. You will see Carlos Menem is a very character-driven guy, you know. But also make a lot of we had a lot of consequences in our economy in this period. And Nueva Reina depicts kind of these small crooks of Buenos Aires in the city, in downtown Buenos Aires, that are trying to make business, to make how do they say estafas, to make well, it's a very interesting story with a twist that depicts this moment of Argentina, the moment of the 2000s, and the moment of before the breakdown of 2001. In 2001, we have a big breakdown that all our economy collapsed. And well, perhaps the Nueva Reinas depicts this previous moment in a way to understand what's going on. Then come La Ciénaga by Lucrecia Martel. La Ciénaga also, Lucrecia Martel is a member of this new Argentinian cinema. And La Ciénaga she's from Salta, the north of our country. Also, Salta, the place that Camila, the other movie I mentioned, took place in beginning of 19th century. Well, now in 2001, Lucrecia Martel tells the story of the society of Salta in a way, in a very interesting way, in a very cinematic way, to understand Salta as a society, to understand the power of the families, the power of the farmers, the power of the bourgeois, and also the moral of the empowered people of Salta, telling the story of a family, and the story also of the coming of age of one of the members who start to realize she likes a woman, and all the, well, many histories and many subtle insights in this movie that it really makes a difference.
Jorge, we have just a few minutes.
Yes, 2 minutes. Well, then Historias Mínimas, Come Adentro is my movie, a movie I made and also depicts the 2001, the breakdown, the economic breakdown. Is a story and the relationship between the housekeeper and her master. And well, one can pay the salary to the other, but the other remains because she was working for her for 30 years. And well, it's a very intense story about relationships, about power, about classes, and well, it really went well. It was United States. It was released in the United States and all around the world. And it's my movie. But well, I put it not because it was my movie, because it tells the story of 2001, and before the towers, all this moment, I was coming back to Argentina and faced this 2001, writing this movie just before Fulbright. So it really, I had to thank Fulbright, to thank the spirit to live abroad, to make me think about my country in a different way. Because when you go abroad and you experiment another culture, another society, you rethink, you nourish a lot yourself. And I hope you are in that moment when you are coming to Argentina. You will see a lot of things. And well, these movies will introduce you to a lot of experience you're gonna have, and perhaps it helps you to be aware, to look better, to understand, and to feel, and well, and compartir and share experiences. So that's great. I'm really proud that perhaps to be a little window to know Argentina and to know our experience. And we have a lot of things in common. And well, I hope you enjoy.
And Jorge, I was wondering if not all the people are attending today because they had some work issues. Mm-hmm. Would you mind giving them your email just in case? I mean, writing your email in the chat for those who would
yes.
like to.
Yes, of course. Yes, of course.
Can you write it in the chat?
In the chat, okay.
Yes.
Or you can share. Well, let me see.
Or if you can't, I mean, I can send it to them later.
I'm doing it.
Okay, so does anyone have any questions for Jorge about the movies he talked about? Terry?
Just a really quick question. The one that you described as a window to Argentina, that was your film, La Cama Adentro? Yes? Okay.
Yes, Cama Adentro. It's called Living Made. In the United States was released like Living Made. Yes, that was my film.
Thank you.
Well, well, perhaps, I don't know, you're gonna be here. Perhaps it's someday you want to go to the cinema. We can make, I don't know. I don't know in what part of the country we'll be, but if Fulbright wants to make something or go to a movie, I will. Perhaps it could be a good meeting or.
Yeah, they will be in Buenos Aires, but they will be also touring the country to Mendoza, Cordoba, and Salta. So okay. Maybe they can meet you in person at some point. Hopefully
Yes.
the pandemic allows us.
Yes.
Maybe we can invite all the people that talked during these pre-webinars. So hopefully they can meet you in person and talk to you and ask questions in person. So for now,
Yes, of
we
course.
thank you a lot. And we thank all the people that attended today. This will be recorded, and there is another session. We will send an email to remind you. The next session will be on Argentinian demographics. We'll be in touch. Thanks for attending this session. Thank you, Jorge. Thank you very much. And see you the next time. Bye-bye.
I'll see you next time. Enjoy Argentina and have fun.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank
When
you.
when is the day for the next one?
I will send you an email because there is an agenda, but I don't have it right now.
Okay.
I can't remember right now, but I will send an email.
Okay, thank you. Thanks so much.
Bye.
Bye-bye.